Hi, I'm Anastasia Mac, and today I'm going to show you my little trick, my little trade secret of using acrylic paint pens over acrylic painting. Welcome back to my studio. It's summer. The world has reopened, at least around here. I'm doing a ton of art festivals. I'm doing a ton of traveling. I'm creating paintings constantly, and I'm always covered in paint from head to toe, it seems like. Today is one of the only days I look kind of decent because I'm going out later today. So I decided to record this clip for you since I have been asked numerous times about the easy method of using paint pens over acrylic paint. So the problem that people come across a lot of times is that when you are trying to apply a paint marker or paint pen, same thing, over acrylic paint, sometimes it doesn't stick. The paint can be a little bit too glossy, too slick, and it doesn't necessarily provide good ground for application of the acrylic paint marker. It becomes a little bit inconsistent when you're trying to draw a thin line or when you're trying to get out something very detailed on your painting on top of already placed down acrylic paint. And I have a little hack, a little trade secret, don't tell anybody, that I have developed that has been working for me really well. And this hack is so simple and it's so basic that it's going to take 30 seconds for me to explain it. I have been working on this painting right here, and you may remember from my last video about student grade paint. This is the painting that I was testing different student grade paint on, and I sort of halfway finished this painting, and I'm going to complete it before trying to apply a paint pen over it. So in the beginning of the video, since my tutorial part is so brief, I'm going to show you the process of creating this painting from start to finish. And if you don't want to see that part, you can just skip straight to the tutorial and fast forward to this time to see my little hack. Otherwise, enjoy the painting creation, and I'll see you guys in the end of the video. So now we've arrived at a place of me showing you my super duper big secret of what I do before I apply the paint marker over my painting. Can you guess what it is? If you've seen my videos before, can you guess what I use? Maybe you can, because it's the same thing I use for so many different things. It is Liquitex Matte Medium. This is my go-to for so many different things when it comes to painting. It makes a great glue. It makes a great application for stretching your canvas. When your canvas is not so tight, check out my video on that. And now I'm going to use Liquitex Matte Medium as a surface to apply my paint pens over. And basically all I do is coat my painting with Liquitex Matte Medium, let it dry, and draw over it with the paint pen. That's my tutorial right here. But I'm going to go ahead and show you the actual process. This painting is now ready for its surface to be prepared for the application of paint marker. First, you have to make sure that the paint is fully dry. Let it dry for a couple of hours, or better yet, for a day or two, so that way you don't smear the paint when you apply matte medium over it. And I use one of these fancy, very cheap Home Depot brushes. Here's my Liquitex Matte Medium. And what I do is I pour just a little bit of matte medium on my painting, right on my painting. This should do. And I brush it on in a very, very thin layer. The thinner the better. And it pours on cloudy, but don't let that concern you because it dries clear. And the thinner the layer, the more guarantee there is that this matte medium will dry completely clear. So even though it looks white right now, once it dries, you will be able to see all the color through it. But the texture of the painting will be more matte. And the stuff actually dries very quickly, probably in about 20 minutes or so, but to make sure that it is fully dry, let it sit for an hour or two as well before you start to apply paint marker to your painting. I should also mention that for this step, it is best to use a brush that is soft and not very abrasive, so it doesn't scratch off any of the beautiful paint that you already have on your piece. Now the matte medium has dried over my acrylic paint and it is clear. You can see colors again, and it provides a much better surface for drawing over it with a paint pen. I like to use these Posca pens. I've tried many different brands before, but this Posca is my favorite because I feel like it's the smoothest out of all the pens that I have used in the past. And now I'm going to outline this bike and do some extra enhancements of my painting with the pen. I think I'm also going to add a few bright red enhancements to this bicycle because bright acrylic paint works very well when it sits on top of matte medium. It seems to bring out all the highlights quite nicely. And just a few extra bright highlights in the background wouldn't hurt either. Well, this is it. I have this painting right where I want it. It is funky, it is bright, it looks a little bit like a paper cutout, it is whimsical, and I think I'm pretty happy with it. Now I'm going to go ahead and varnish it and bring back that lushness of all the colors, make it shiny, and it's going to be ready for framing. But first I'm going to let it dry for a couple of days to make sure all this acrylic paint settles. Now keep in mind that when you apply varnish over acrylic paint pen, sometimes it may smear your paint markers. So you have to be careful when you are applying varnish to your painting. What I find is that this white Posca color doesn't usually get smeared, but this black color, which is a Molotov marker that I have, smears all the time. So when I'm using a black paint pen on top of my painting, to varnish it, I give it a spray coat first, and my second coat of varnish is a brush coat. So that way I can prevent smearing that can be caused by the varnish brush when the application of varnish goes over the paint marker. As always, what I recommend is doing some testing before you go ahead and varnish your larger piece, just so that you can understand how each brand and each color of the paint pen behaves on your piece. Well, thank you for coming to visit me today. Hopefully you have been helped with acrylic marker application. Let me know how it works out for you. Definitely leave a comment. Tell me if you enjoy the process more after having applied the matte medium. And if you like this kind of a presentation, be sure to subscribe and hit a like button. And you can also, of course, visit me on my website where I offer paintings and prints and painting tutorials. Bye for now. Enjoy your summer.